Hello, 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 Dragoncasters. I'm Jamie East.
And I'm Chris Mandle.
And you are here for our Game of Thrones rewatch. It's another biggie. It's another classic Game of Thrones episode. It's time for Season 6, Episode 9, Battle of the Bastards. Excuse anyone that can hear a mixer in the background. My wife is currently making me a birthday cake. Just because it's my birthday today.
What kind of cake is it?
It will... I'm pretty vanilla when it comes to cake. For birthday cake, I just like a Victoria sponge with jam and buttercream in it. I don't like any faff.
Yeah.
What's your favourite kind of cake?
Probably. Ooh, that is a good question. Probably like just like a chocolate cake, like really chocolatey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or for my last birthday, Rob got me a like a sort of ginger sponge, like a spiced kind of cinnamony from Sano's. But yeah, I love anything like that. Victoria sponge though, you just can't go wrong, can you?
You can't. And I do like American birthday cake as well, where they have that you can't beat Betty Crocker cake.
Yeah,
the
Americans do
made with oil.
Frosting with it's slightly almost a bit tangy, isn't it? It's like buttercream.
Yeah. Well, they use sour buttermilk in it. Yeah.
Exactly that.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about me hitting 35. We're here to talk about Battle of the Bastards. Hey there, my bad. In all the excitement, I forgot to mention that we're going to have a quick 5-minute recap of the Battle of Bastards from our sister podcast previously on. I'll remember next time. Here it is. We begin in Meereen, a city under attack from the Masters' fleet. Daenerys, Tyrion and Missandei meet the Masters on the beach. Tyrion says they are to talk terms of surrender, to which the Masters tell Daenerys she can walk away if they get to keep the Unsullied army, Missandei, and kill the dragons. Daenerys points out no, they've misunderstood actually, and it's their surrender they're there to discuss. She climbs onto Drogon's back and takes to the air alongside Viserion and Rhaegal, obliterating the Masters' forces and fleet. Outside Winterfell, Jon meets with Ramsay. Ramsay offers him a pardon for deserting the Night's Watch if he kneels and hands Sansa over. Jon rejects this and counters with an offer of one-on-one combat. Ramsay declares he doesn't know if he could beat Jon, but he does know his army can. Back at camp, Jon, Tormund and Davos draw a battle plan. Sansa tries to drum home to Jon just how devious and cruel Ramsay is, telling him that they'll never get Rickon back and should have waited until they have more men. Jon promises to protect her. She replies wisely that no one can protect anyone. Jon meets with Melisandre and orders her not to bring him back if he dies. She says she can't promise that. Davos is on a walk and stumbles upon some ashes. He finds the stag he carved for Princess Shireen. It's charred from fire. He finally realises how she died. Theon and Yara Greyjoy arrive in Meereen. Meeting with Daenerys and Tyrion, they offer 100 ships of the Iron Fleet in return for Daenerys supporting Yara's claim for the Salt Throne, which is the throne of the Iron Islands. Daenerys agrees on the condition that the Ironborn cease raiding and raping. In Winterfell, the day of reckoning has arrived, and the armies of Jon Snow and Ramsay Bolton gather for battle. Ramsay brings Rickon forward and tells him to run to Jon, but then draws his bow and begins shooting arrows. Jon jumps on his horse and gallops to meet him, but Ramsay finds his mark and Rickon is killed. In blind rage, Jon charges the enemy army alone, forcing Davos to call the attack. Ramsay's archers bring down Jon's horse, and he sees Ramsay's cavalry bearing down. Just as Jon looks doomed, the two armies collide head-on around him. A furious, bloody battle ensues. Hundreds of dead from both sides litter the battlefield. Jon stands in the middle of the fray as Ramsay directs his forces from further back, ordering his archers to fire into the crowd regardless of who they hit. A wall of corpses slowly rises from the mud, and Ramsay's soldiers march forward to form a horseshoe barrier around the three sides of Jon's army, trapping them against the wall of the dead. They lower spears and slowly close in, killing as they go. Jon is knocked to the ground and trampled by his own men, slowly suffocating under the scrambling bodies. Clawing his way up, he grabs a lungful of air, but it seems the battle is lost.
A blowing horn signals hope as Knights of the Vale ride over the hill to the rescue, watched by Sansa and Littlefinger. They quickly decimate what remains of the Bolton army, and Ramsay retreats to Winterfell. Jon and his men follow, capturing Ramsay, who is savagely beaten by Jon, and the Stark sigil flies once again over Winterfell. Hooray. That night Sansa visits a bound and blooded Ramsay in the kennels. He tells her his hounds will not turn on him, but Sansa reminds him he's been deliberately starving them. She smiles and walks away as Ramsay is eaten alive by his own pets.
Now, you didn't want to do this. I wasn't that fussed about doing it. How, like, knee-jerk kind of
I thought it was
straw
great.
poll?
I thought it was
Yeah, there we go. There we go, Dragoncast listeners.
Good episode.
I think it was a good episode. Who knew?
Too anti-BOTB beforehand. I mean, look, the things I don't like about it haven't changed, but I thought it looked amazing. Yeah. Genuinely haven't rewatched this for a minute, so I was watching it thinking, how are they going to get out of this one in a couple of, I actually forgot about Littlefinger's army. I honestly forgot.
Oh, okay.
So when they came in, because I thought, whoa, this is amazing. And I thought, actually, yeah, there's plenty to love about it, and it is a good episode. So that's the current stance on it. What were your thoughts after watching it?
Yeah, I think, from a, as with all Thrones, I guess, tentpole episodes, as we've always said, it's like, well, how long, it's like Hardhome, we've done Baylor, we've done, Red Wedding, we've done all of the ones so far coming up. It's always like, oh, there's a lot of stuff that went on aside from the actual battle. Yeah. The battle was, this was directed by Miguel Sapochnik, and will probably be his finest moment ever. It felt really original. It felt visceral. It felt claustrophobic. It felt suffocating. It felt full of despair. And like you said, you're just like, how the fuck are they going to get out of this? It was just so well done. It was well shot. But before all of that, there was lots to like as well. I really enjoyed the Marine bit at the beginning. I really, it's one of the few times where I was just like, actually, this had a bit of substance to it. It was building mainly the benefit of hindsight, because we knew it was kind of starting to steer Daenerys into what she ended up becoming. But I liked, that sense of PTSD from Tyrion, from the kind of Blackwater kind of battle where he's looking over at the fleet. I just enjoyed it.
Although, I think it's a storyline that, because we haven't had to watch it over the entire season, you get the sort of highlights, and it's great, right? Bits. So the kind of Daenerys has come back, the slavers have revolted, and she's just like, look, we need to just sort this shit out. The dragons wreak havoc, destroy them all. The Dothraki come in, take out the Sons of the Harpy, and it's just, it's quite clean, almost too clean. She's like, okay, well, that's solved now. But it's great to watch. It's the shot of Drogon flying along the bay, torching the boats.
And the two other dragons bursting out of their
pyramid, really cool.
Yeah, it was really good.
And the Dothraki,
they could have done that at any time, right? That was the...
Yeah. This is the thing, right? You're sort of like, where have you been?
But it's like, why did the slavers not expect that to happen? This is what I don't understand, because this is just what Daenerys does. You piss her off, she'll burn.
They didn't know. She only got back at the end of the last episode.
Ah, okay.
She returns, I think, at night on the eve of the attack, and the other two are obviously locked up. So I imagine if they did successful smash down the walls and invade, they would probably try and kill the dragons.
Right. Okay.
But
Jamie Hince from the kills was saved and went off to.
Oh my God! Is that who that is?
No, it just really looks like him.
I wouldn't put it past me. There's always like random people on this show.
That's true. I don't think it was Jamie Hince. I think we would have known that.
It's one of those where it's just great to see it kicking off. But what I would say, first of all, I loved the bit where she was like, one of you must die. And then the guy rats out the other two, so she kills him.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really cool.
I thought that was great.
Enjoyed Grey Worm's really camp outfit. It's like nice little collarless leather kind of singlet.
I think I've seen people wearing that exact outfit in a few evening establishments in central London.
A few Berlin techno nights.
Yeah. There's a little carabiner on the inside for you to stick your keys in, because you don't want them sticking out. I think what I found watching this is it's been sort of there for a while, and I think we would have seen it with all the Dothraki stuff, but the sort of Targaryen has really jumped out, where she's like, look, I'm going to kill all of them, all the soldiers, anyone that's still standing. Like, they dared to go against me. I'm trying to be a good person here. And obviously she is about to, like, fuck off as well. And kind of, she spent a few years trying to fix the culture, the economy, the like city, and she's kind of just blown.
Well, she's realised she can't really change anything. Who did she leave in charge? I can't remember now.
She leaves Dario Naharis.
Oh, so it's the end of Dario. Yeah,
she's like you can stay behind by yourself.
Does that mean we're not banging anymore?
Because he's like, I can't wait for us to. So we're gonna have a cabin together on the boat over, and she's like, you will be ruling the entire city.
I have great news for you.
You're a hired like sellsword. Just unreal. Just what a shit way to end. But she's just gotta get going and
Yara and Theon made it over as well to have a bit of a chit chat.
Yeah, they kind of bring the fleet because she's gonna go back on. So
I love a bit of Yara sassy dyke chat, don't you?
Yeah, I love this terrifying owner of dragons, and she's like, my only way out of this is by hitting on her repeatedly. And Daenerys is like, hey,
it's not a no. Yeah.
Hey, it's not a no. Yeah, I have got room in my cabin actually.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's just, because we did hold the door, so that was 4 episodes ago.
Yeah.
So, and I know this isn't the most logistical, coherent storyline, but let's just get this clear. They ran away before Euron built his ships with 100 ships.
Yeah.
And they have got there before him and have encountered no
resistance.
They just got there. They just
clear seas. Yeah.
Sailed there. Euron is on his way? No, he can't be on his way. He's probably just decided not to go.
And also, they've sailed there right into the aftermath of... I mean, how did they get past all those
They must
ships?
have...
Like,
do you think they literally pulled up and they're like...
Dracarys in the kind of like... Yeah, it's like, oh, hang on a sec. Let's just wait around the corner for a bit. Yeah.
Can you imagine if they'd got there like an hour earlier and, Tyrion's like, so we burnt all the slave owners' boats. We also burnt 100 boats that have been brought to you by 2 people you've never met, and they were going to...
Yeah, we didn't know. They were just kind of got mixed up. We didn't see...
They had the wrong... They didn't
Drogon can't read the sigils.
Yeah, exactly. Drogon's like, that doesn't look like... that looks like a kraken.
Is that an octopus?
Yeah. So they've come over and... I mean, it's cool. I think it's really cool. I think Tyrion seeing Theon again, that's really exciting.
Yeah.
Because they haven't seen each other since like Winterfell, which was 6 seasons ago.
And he's still having to go, I didn't kill the Stark boys.
Worst kept secret. Literally everyone's like, you killed those boys. He goes, nope, didn't do it. But there's the thing about this that I don't like, and this is just where the chips have landed. The tensions between all the different cultures is what made Game of Thrones really exciting, because it's like, oh, it's not resolvable. And Daenerys said, yeah, I'll let you give me a lift back to Westeros. You can have independence, but you can't raid, can't reap, can't rape, can't do anything.
Yeah.
And Yara's like, but this is our way of life. And she's like, you just don't do it, okay? And she goes, okay.
But also, did you notice that, this great scene of 2 powerful women kind of forging a new future together, blah, blah, blah. Both of them have to turn to men for the reassurance that they're doing the right thing. I thought it was a real misstep in script. So Yara had to look over to Theon, fucking about as much use as a chocolate teapot.
Yeah.
And then there's that really awful, I hated the kind of hammy, kind of wry smile that Tyrion gave Dany, which was like, this is a good idea.
Yeah. Trust me.
I just found that real, it's like, hang on a sec. why are they asking you? They don't need your approval.
Also, like, if you say no, like, how else are you going to get to Westeros?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this is, the bus does not run this far. Like, take the lift.
Crossrail is some way off yet. Yeah.
It's like, maybe we'll just wait for HS2. Good luck.
Yeah.
So, I think you're right. I think they're very keen at the moment to be like, let's show how empowered these women are. The future is female. But they are always caught out by, like, let's check what Grey Worm thinks.
Yeah.
No, it's really exciting. And obviously, they bring her over. But it does. I think the other thing I just feel is like if you could resolve conflicts that easily with Yara wanting to pillage, none of this would have happened if you could have just gone, don't do that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine going back to all these, no offense to the Iron Islanders, all these crusty, barnacle-looking men, and going, we're all going to build our own new business opportunities in the Iron Islands.
Yeah.
They're like, what? That guy's name is Dagmar Cleftjaw. Like, what do you think he's going to have, like, an adult education center? Like, all he knows is, like, mutilating people. Anyway.
Anyway.
What else did we get that was not Battle of the Bastards? Did we get any other...
Not a lot, actually.
No. So
I think that was kind of it, really.
I really liked...
didn't have any King's Landing stuff, did we?
No, nothing at the wall.
No. No, I think it was just the two of them. Yeah, it was literally 4 sequences. We had that at the beginning. Then we went over to like the pre-battle meet. There was like the small group that met on the hill with Ramsay, where they revealed Shaggy Dog's head. So
the shittest looking prosthetic dog head.
It wasn't big either, was it?
It looked like a pig that they just stuck hair to. I thought
Did you see little baby Lady Mormont was there? Who now
isn't she tiny?
She looks so much. It's like you forget how much of a baby she was.
She was like 11, wasn't she, when they filmed this?
It was so good.
I tell you what I found weird.
Scowling. Yeah.
Is like. I tell you what I found weird is that it's this like no holds barred fight, and they're like, let's meet the day before just to
wind each other up a bit.
Just to wind each other up. But,
it's like the weigh-in at a boxing match.
It is.
That's how I kind of look at it.
But they try and resolve it amicably. John tries to kind of say, let's just do this one-on-one. I don't want loads of people to die. I thought the kind of... The thing that runs through this was actually really good, which was like tricking John into like getting him in his head so he can't do all of his military shit. Because that's kind of how Ramsay did it, right? He brought out Rickon,
made him angry. Yeah.
Yeah, got him off his horse.
Yeah.
And it just kind of went south from there. But before we get into that, I thought the stuff with all the characters planning the battle was really interesting.
Yeah.
Obviously Sansa's there going, none of you know that I've sneakily got an army tucked away.
Yeah.
And
but had she worked that out? I mean, she must have. Bizarre, right? I mean, that's the one bizarre thing about this. It's like, when did she do that? Because if she knew that was going to happen, battles happen at dawn. Late at night, she's watching them kind of come up with their plan, thinking that's bollocks. At what point does she have the Knights of the Vale up her sleeve?
It must have been after that conversation with John. Sent a raven.
I know. A raven? What? And the army just happened to be within an hour, a couple of hours.
Well, can you imagine? Littlefinger's got 40,000 men just stood around going, I think she wants us to come. And it's like, we've got all our...
It makes no sense. I mean, it's purely there for cinematic pleasure, really. Because
it's there because they really want us to see Sansa as a smart... Strategic, like, power player. And, she just isn't, frankly. Because even the stuff... And I feel like I really don't want to turn into, like, Andrew Tate, like, how much I don't like this character. But, like... It just annoys me because there is such a guilt about how badly she was written last season that they're turning her into the smartest person in the room, and it's just like, I'm sorry, you don't know shit, love.
Yeah.
But what annoyed me is she says to John, he's going, look, I'd love to have more people. We're gonna have to just go in. Like, battles have been won with less men, and John has won a fair few fights at this point. And she's like, you don't know Ramsay. I lived with him. It's like, no, he locked you in one of his towers. Like, I wouldn't say you sort of like got to know him very well. Like,
there was no pillow talk. Yeah.
I know how he thinks. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't.
You just know that he's a real horrible, nasty cunt.
But it's all, as you said, it's all, we need her to be kind of right, because they must know at this point she's going to be queen in the north, and she's going to be, you know, sort of an adversary to Daenerys and all this kind of thing as it goes on. So I thought all that was quite frustrating, but obviously must be after that point she then decides to get the Knights of the Vale.
She must have gone, actually these boys know nothing. I've got to have to go and save the day.
And she obviously must have also been like, look, if it gets bad, come in, because otherwise they are really late.
Well, I mean, I'm just looking at a Westeros map now. So
it's miles away. It's ridiculous.
So, oh my God. So,
because they're not a northern house. This is when they were recruiting, they didn't even think to recruit.
So Battle of the Bastards is at Winterfell, right?
Kind of between, just outside Winterfell.
So the Eyrie is, oh my God, yeah. I mean, it's not the furthest away.
No, it's kind of Midlands, isn't it?
But you've got to get, well, it's more like Newcastle. If Winterfell's like the Scottish Highlands, the Eyrie is kind of like Newcastle upon Tyne, but you've got to get over Hadrian's Wall. You've got to kind of like go through. You've got to go over the Twins. You've got to go through the Twins, over Greywater, through by Moat Caitlin, up to Winterfell.
They must have. I mean, I presume. Like, my sort of theory was that Littlefinger had, because obviously maybe the Eyrie is like the seat of the Vale, but the army is gathered to like the northmost or the top of the border of the Vale. But I just, you know, wouldn't they have to go? I'm not 100% sure, but wouldn't they have to go past the Twins?
Yeah, that's what I just said. Yeah, so you got to go past.
Oh, sorry,
Twins.
I misheard you. Yeah,
yeah. So it's you know, they must have been loitering around Barrowlands.
The other thing is, could he have sailed around the coast? But then you'd have all these ships. Yeah.
Can you sail?
All the Dothraki sail over.
Well, I mean, I guess that would make more sense, but still very weird. Anyway,
so let's. Yeah, I liked all the chat about. John had a good chat with the Red Woman.
Yeah,
where he sort of said like,
they love a pre-battle. They love a pre-battle.
Don't bring me back.
Eve of a battle.
Yeah. What I also really, I thought, is it Carys Van
Houten? Yeah.
Van Houten. I really like. She really sort of laid bare. She's like, I don't have any power. I just get given power by him. And if he wants you brought back, you'll be brought back. I liked all that. I thought that was really interesting, and I really, because it does answer the question of like, why don't you just revive everyone if they fall in battle? I do think part of the problem is just seeing Jon get brought back to life. Where's the threat? Where's the sort of
I mean, we know that we've seen the state of Doric Dondarrion. You know, he kind of like it takes away a bit of you, doesn't it? Although it doesn't seem to have taken anything away from Jon.
No, it doesn't.
But there's less. You know, the more you get brought back, the less and less there is of you. I think.
Yeah.
Have we done that scene? Have we had that moment yet where they're kind of like on the iceberg in the middle of the ice lake with the ice dragon?
Season 7.
That's season 7. Right.
They go on the expedition. One of the dumbest. Sorry.
It was a bit. It's a bit Lord of the Rings. That wasn't it? Yeah.
Just let's get. Just take 8 people. Just take 8 people.
Why? Yeah. Just 8.
Why 8?
I
hate it so
I love the Davos Tormund chat was great. Maybe that was our mistake, believing in the king. Believing in the king was a really good line, as was the happy shitting.
Interesting to hear Davos say Stannis was the cause of Stannis' downfall.
Yeah. That
he kind of, I don't know. I mean, I guess he's referring specifically to like the ploughing on regardless, but you know, just to sort of take us back to season 5 when Stannis couldn't get to Winterfell because the snow was so bad.
Yeah.
Where's that gone? It was winter. Winter's here, isn't it? And they're suddenly like, well, if Stannis had just waited 3 weeks, he'd have been fine.
I think it was probably more that Stannis just wasn't built for the weather. You know, it's like he's from Dragonstone. You know, he's kind of like from south. It's kind of Dragonstone's Cornwall, really, isn't it? You know, they don't get much snow down there.
Lovely little, St Ives.
Exactly. Just
sort of bolt hole.
Exactly. You know,
fresh seafood.
Too many people in Breton and not enough Parkers. You know.
Yeah, but a few Boston suede shoes down there on Dragonstone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that. I love that they're sort of, and these survivors are very different climates. You know, the Northerners. There's a good little ragtag bunch of people now. You know, with
it's a good gang. Good gang.
And then we get to the actual fight.
Well, before that, with Davos discovered Shireen's charred stag as well, which was a lovely little moment. Really nice shot as well.
Remembered
standing on the horizon
that he banishes. You know, the Red Woman gets banished in next episode. Here's the confrontation. What I didn't realize until watching this episode is that they are at or beyond the camp that Stannis had got to. That he set up. They're in the. You know, that's how he finds the deer. Astonished though that fire can burn through a young girl and the wooden stag remains curiously intact.
No bones, you know.
No.
What's this child skeleton? Oh, you know, that would have been probably as much of a clue.
And even the little delicate little antlers were still. You know, he's a good craftsman. I've always said this about.
I've held that exact charred stag in my hands. I might put that. I'll put that up on Twitter. Yeah, when I went on the set in Belfast, like the props tent was just fucking amazing. It was like a treasure chest of Game of Thrones. It was like just the nonchalance that stuff's just like lying around. I must have told you this before when I went to the toilet and just turned around and Bran's wheelchair was just like in a corner.
Is it a functional wheelchair?
It was a functional wheelchair. I've got a photo of me going full Bran in it.
Is it like, are the wheels like metal wheels, but they just made them look old-fashioned?
No, it's just like a proper wooden wheelchair. It was amazing. But then like, there's just like boxes. It's just like written on them. It's just like dragon eggs. You're just like, and you open it, there must be like tons of them. No, there's just the 3 actual dragon eggs that Daenerys got in the end of season 1. It's like, holy shit. And there's the whole like, you know, like you go to home base and there's like a section where you can just buy like plastic crates of like storage boxes. It's just all like that, and marker pen written Jaime's hands. You open them up and there's just all of Jaime Lannister's hands.
I always wanted one of the map pieces with, you know, they have like the lion or the kraken or the.
They're all there. So cool. Yeah, they're all there as well.
Do you think amazing. Are they saving it all for when they do like a Game of Thrones studio?
I think it's there. The Belfast, the exhibitions now. It must be like all part of the exhibition. But like Jaime's hands were great. They were like hero hands, which are like when he's like in close up and he's having to do stuff with it. But then there's like horse riding Jaime hand, which was basically made out of rubber. And it was completely flexible for him to put his hand inside. It was just like a glove. It was amazing.
That's so cool.
It was really, honestly, it was one of the greatest days of my life. What made it even better was that like strict no phones policy, yeah? So like you can imagine the security like was crazy. Yeah. I went there the day before they started filming the last season. So all the crew were there gearing up. The actors must have been, like the cast must have been like there somewhere, but I wasn't allowed to see them. So no phones allowed. Really, really strict policy. I handed him my battery pack, my battery for my phone instead of my phone.
Oh, that is clever.
Do you like that?
That is sneaky.
I have some amazing photographs.
I really want to. I want to go and do
Ned statue. It was great. Like him from the crypt. Oh, it's just so good.
Oh my god. So good. Yeah, I want them to do for Game of Thrones what they've done with Harry Potter, where they like recreate rooms and castles. And
I think, well, maybe I'm sure someone listening
they did a temporary thing.
Been they did a tour of stuff. They did a tour of like weapons and stuff, but there's now a permanent exhibition in Belfast. I'm sure someone listening will have been. Let me know. Is it like is it like the Harry Potter World thing? Because I'd love to go again. Because
that Harry Potter one is amazing.
It's done really well, isn't it? Done so well, and the way they keep
going to Diagon Alley and stuff.
Yeah, it's really, really good. So they have the like main props thing in Belfast, but then they had 2 huge like backlot warehouses full to the brim of props, relevant to our interest because in there all of the bodies, all of the fake bodies they used for Battle of the Bastards. the actual battle was really good. You know,
it was
emotionally charged. You felt it, didn't you? You just really kind of felt it. That I think there was that for me. What the epitome of what crystallized the whole sequence was possibly one of the most famous shots in Game of Thrones. Certainly one that you see quite a lot is where Jon is off his horse. His horse has been killed by the arrow. Rickon is dead. And Jon sees the charge of the Bolton army coming towards him. And he just goes, fuck it. Takes off his belt and sheath and just stands there with Longclaw, like knowing that he's going to die here, but like going down like a trooper, and without knowing that his men are right behind him. And it's just such a great moment. No sound, no speaking, no dialogue. But it just summarized Jon's character there. It's just like, this is a true king. You know, it's just up. And the cinematography of this was just...
There was some really
chef's kiss,
complicated shots, and it just felt very visceral. I think the thing I liked, first of all, it was in the daytime, which is a huge plus. But also, it kind of unfurled in stages, and I think what you thought of as like two armies, you know, the horses go pretty quickly, and it's very brutal. They're all caked in mud. It's like bodies, corpses, guts. Like I forgot how intense it was in that sense.
Oh, well, it took 25 days to shoot. Cost 10 million quid just to shoot this battle. 500 extras, 70 horses, 4 different camera crews. Oh, Jesus. I mean, that's.
I don't even know
they
how...
went to town on it.
I don't even know how you choreograph something like this. Because there's a lot of shots where Kit is lying down and there's horses thundering past. And I'm like, that must be laid over. Like, it can't be, because it's just chaos. I don't know how... but it starts off, the first bit is Rickon running away. And I think a lot of people at the time were like, don't run in a straight line, you idiot. Do a zigzag, which, you know, probably easier to say when you're not being hunted down on the middle of a battlefield. But Rickon gets wiped out pretty quickly. And I thought at the time, he was a really important character. He was going to be really important. But it's great because it forces Jon off his horse. And I think, like, a lot of the stuff this season, like Arya's trying to figure out her identity. Sansa's trying to sort of figure out who she is, if she's a Bolton, but she's a Stark and all this. Jon realizes he is a Stark. That is his brother. And he has to sort of fight for him. And I thought there was a lot of, like, you know, he's not on the Night's Watch anymore. And he's sort of a bit of a no man's land sort of place. So that sort of forces him off the horse. And as you said, his team, his supporters come behind, smash into the horses, and the horses get taken out really quickly. So it becomes this kind of, you know, on the ground.
And the horses just become dangerous, don't they? They're like they're a fucking liability. They get you to the battlefront, but like, mate, just park them up and walk like the last bit.
It's crazy, isn't it? How, because there's people with arrows. It's like, actually the horses are just massive targets.
Yeah, they really are.
The only thing I tell you what I found frustrating. So I didn't remember this at all. The shields ring fencing them.
Yeah.
And they're shuffling forward with the spears, and they try and they just cannot get through.
Yeah.
And at the back is this kind of like ridge of dead bodies. Just like
a mountain of dead bodies.
And they've kind of got them in a half moon around the wall of bodies. And then some of Ramsay's team come in over the top. So they literally are trapped. Yeah. The only thing I would say is, like, on such a big open plain, how do the bodies pile quite that high? I just kept thinking, but one of those where I just let it go because the visual was amazing.
It's kind of like World War Z style, where they're all heading to X marks the spot, which is Ramsay Bolton. So they're all charging towards there, and the front line dies, so the next lot come and the next lot die, and the next. I think it kind of is born out of truth a little bit. I think it's a lot of it like that.
It makes sense. Yeah, I didn't mind it because I thought the visual of that those shields. It was just impenetrable.
It was never meant to. It was never meant to be like that either. The story of the Battle of the Bastards is that originally there was a completely different kind of battle written, but there was a 3-day downpour. That rendered like the whole field just so muddy they couldn't shoot what Daniel and David had originally written. So Miguel Sapochnik and his team pitched the Battle of the Bastards to them just via email, and they kind of get, well, okay, it sucks that we can't do what we were originally going to do, but go for it.
Interesting. Do you know what they were going to do originally? Was there a very
No, I don't think so. I think
we should try and I'll try and find out.
Yeah, I think it just had the originally scripted scenes, because it was in Saintfield in Northern Ireland, and the rain had made it like 9 inches of mud, so it was just completely kind of like impossible to do what they'd originally scripted.
Yeah. I thought it's a really stunning kind of.
I mean, there's loads. If you're really interested in the making of it, do go. There are so many like featurettes and making of and interviews around it. Anyone listening that wants to kind of lose themselves for a couple of hours and like just go and watch it all, because it's fucking. I love behind the scenes stuff, and like you never get better than that.
Because so much has gone into it. They've planned so much about like what is happening and why and that kind of thing.
And I think, which is why a lot of. Do you think? Are you one of the people that think that this is Jon Snow's rebirth? Like more so than like the whole symbolism of him like climbing there, that great shot of him coming out. Like a lot of people are like, oh, that was Jon Snow's kind of rebirthing scene, which is I think a nice notion, but because this was like a winged kind of like thrown together sequence, possibly not.
Yeah, so I maybe don't know. I think it's a nice idea. I think it's the whole battle is like, for me, I sort of read it as him reclaiming his identity as Stark rather than a man of the Night's Watch. But I think that's happening throughout, all of the like campaigning he's doing to all the houses is part of that. And I think killing the Night's Watch who stabbed him is part of that. So I think the whole season is probably seen as that. And I think this winning back Winterfell for his family is like the icing on the cake.
I will say though that I think the shot of him being raised through the crowd, mirroring Daenerys being hoisted above the slaves, was intentional. I think we're starting to see the Targaryen, that similarity there. I think,
and I think also like you can strategize all you want, but he's got good instincts. He knows he's able to think on his feet, and I think a lesser commander, soldier, whatever would have been bested by this. I also just loved. I think it's great that he was manipulated into charging in. I was thinking, you wouldn't do that if you were a smart commander like him. But it's important that he is weakened by his family. First of all, because it's just interesting to watch. But also it's just, you don't want to have someone who's so, you don't want to have Stannis who would let his sibling or brother, whoever, die. Jon, that really spurred him into action. What I don't like about it is, I don't think Ramsay is just a really dreadfully written character, and I think it's broad strokes. I think it's quite cartoonish, but he's now like a really seasoned like commander of an army. Like it's just not right. But you need someone to do that, don't you? That's the
and which is why he has, I think, who is it? What I don't think he's a named member, or he might be the Bolton Army, the guy that Tormund bites, whose throat bites out.
Yeah.
I think he's the guy,
like really lieutenant or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
reading up on like the making of it, that shot of the where Jon Snow's standing there with his sword and they're trying. That was shot for real. That wasn't CGI.
Oh, I remember reading that they were literally
40 horses charging full pelt at him. I would have shat my pants. Literally, I wouldn't have been able to hold the sword.
Yeah, when they cut, did he just like fling himself out the way?
Must have done. But they said they'd used a lot of perspective when they were filming it as well. So, like, you're asking how they shot those scenes without the horses banging into each other. they were shot from the side, so it looked as though they were all basically running really close to each other.
Yeah.
They were like 3 feet apart.
Yeah.
So they're all just like rows, but kind of like, I mean, how do you even go about making that?
There's a really beautiful shot where the Knights of the Vale come in and they break the half moon, and then they sort of, it's like Pac-Man. They eat through each side of it. It's really, really good. And that was really, I mean, it just incredible though that again makes sense cinematically. Sansa and Littlefinger are just around the corner, just watching.
Yeah,
it's like, hi guys, like you would not be anywhere near that.
No, exactly. It was,
but they have to be seen to be sort of involved in some way.
And Kit Harington himself, like more to your point, was just like, Jon was not a great leader in that battle. He fucked up. You know, like you say, he should have listened to Sansa and he didn't, and he should have stayed on his horse and he didn't. You know, it was.
There wasn't really a strategy, was there?
He fell for the trap.
And I do think maybe part of the point is that it's like a brawl. Because we've had these very orchestrated battles and things before. So maybe that's the point. You know, I think all these big fights episodes should be different. This is like a fist fight, essentially, in battle form.
We lose 1-1, which was quite sad. And
he's got a rubbish job, hasn't he? Like, you're going to be the one that tries to get into a castle.
Yeah, with everyone shooting at you.
But a really cool mirror of when the giant breaks through Castle Black.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's like he's learned.
And is this the 1-1 that kills Lady Mormont, or is that a separate?
I don't think we got a conclusive. We'd have to. Well, we'll find out soon enough, won't we?
Yeah, definitely.
I just think they have 1 or 2 molds for like the giant heads, and I think like because they would have burned the body. They wouldn't have left him.
They must have done. Yeah, we see them burning a lot of them, don't we?
So then again, the bit in the courtyard at Winterfell. This is again, I completely forgot about this.
What the fight, the punching, and where he like the shield,
he's got the shield, doom.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, I'd just be so knackered by then. I wouldn't have any. I mean, I'd just be like, oh God, can we just have a? Is there a water fountain anywhere? I just need a little drink. Yeah. I have to say, I did find Ramsay's death very satisfying. The dog, the dog sequence is really good. It was just.
So they Jon gets there, pummels him, sees Sansa out the corner of his eye, keeps Ramsay alive, and then I guess lets Sansa kill him, or like
was the inference on that Jon was going too far? No, don't become a monster yourself, or was he just saving him for, or was he just saving him for Sansa?
You've won, so like
you
know, I think if it were Jon were the Lord of Winterfell, which he obviously isn't, he would have eventually imprisoned him, and I think he would have executed him.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
but obviously Sansa was like, again, really need to communicate how much Sansa's grown. Sansa's going to get her hands dirty, and she's going to let one of his dogs eat his face, which,
It was a good death, though. It was a very very satisfying, villainous death.
The noises are horrendous.
Yeah.
Like, the noises of that dog chomping into his face.
I'm sure I read... I mean, they were genuinely evil dogs. I think we had you and Rion on Thronecast, I think maybe that week.
Right.
To kind of celebrate the death of Ramsay. And he said that no one was allowed near those dogs. All of those dogs that was split screen because they were so dangerous. Those dogs were so dangerous. Dangerous breed, bred for, they were hunting dogs, that no one was really allowed near them.
Yeah, I think I heard that it's nowhere near him because it wasn't.
It wasn't even the same shot. He's kind of like doing that, and it's just never really touches him.
Oh, scary.
They're illegal as well, because they've had their ears cut.
Yeah.
What really
they're not staffies.
They're not. They're like a mastiff kind of thing, or German. They're Turner and Hooch dogs or something. But
But they're just bred to be like uncontrollable, aren't they?
Yeah. Horrible.
But yeah, but really good death. And I really enjoyed that episode. I think it
good.
does.
See, Dragoncasters, we turned him. We turned him.
We did. Next episode is a real humdinger.
Yeah.
Because we've gone from like this brutal, like sort of bloody kind of fight to the next episode. It's, you know, this really complicated, intricate, tense, you know, countdown to this explosion. But very, very worth mentioning, Tyrion says to Daenerys at the top of this episode, you know what your father did. He had the streets, the crypts lined with dragonfire, and he was going to blow everything up. Yeah. Don't be that guy. Yeah. Really good that they sort of lay that down, set the foundations, because that is obviously what happens in this episode.
Oh, cannot wait. What a great episode. Right. We've had a few emails.
Oh.
Don't panic. We know how you get. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Becky's been in touch. Thanks, Becky. Becky Makaruk. Apologies if I've mangled your surname. Firstly, I want to say how much I love your podcast. Oh, Becky. I listen to it on my commute, laugh out loud, equally shout at my phone when you can't remember names and events. Sorry. We can't help it. I only discovered the podcast when House of the Dragon came out and listened every week. I agree with most of what you say and love the controversy about whether Thrones was a British or American show. Becky says it's 100% British. I'm not getting into that one again. But maybe Becky has the final word. My husband never watched Game of Thrones, and at Christmas we decided to watch it from the beginning, complete with candles and blackout curtains, as some of the best bits are shot in near darkness. You're right, we've got that. That was season 7 and season 8, where all the complaints about the darkness came in, wasn't it?
Well, I have to put subtitles on, because I'm a fan. What are you on about?
Quiet and very dark. Yeah. We've been listening along to the podcast as part of our rewatch and have just about managed to keep up. I'm very glad about that. I've picked up a lot more from watching the second time, especially as I know the outcome. I've had a number of light bulb moments where I understand why they mentioned certain things. I despise Littlefinger even more on the rewatch, as some of the finer political points were lost on me the first time round. It will make his eventual demise even sweeter. He does have one of the best deaths, I agree. Watching in quick successions also made me realise how much his accent changed from episode to episode.
I mean, that is absolutely true. Yeah. It's almost a good thing he gets killed, because who knows what he'd sound like in season 8.
Yeah. My favourite character has and always will be Arya. I think her entire story could have been a series on its own. Well, that's what people were hoping for as a spin-off, was Arya just like tootling around on her little side missions. I'm off to get a tattoo on my arse, Dracarys. Thank you, Becky. Thank you, Becky.
Of Dracarys, or just a?
Well, we do ask. We say in the notes on the podcast, like and subscribe, spread the word, tattoo, get your name tattooed on your arse. And
I see. I thought we were doing such a good job that she is taking it upon herself.
Chloe has been in touch. Chloe Entwistle. Thank you, Chloe. She says, "Hi, Chris and Jamie. We've been following the podcast since day one, and I'm a big fan. Hooray! Now with the pleasantries out of the way, I do have a little moan. Here we go. It's Joseph in disguise. But one that will hopefully end with me getting what I want. Okay.
Oh.
In a weird main character moment for myself, I was surprised while listening along to Dragoncast to hear that Chris was also watching The Sopranos at the same time. Me and my fiancé were watching it for the first ever time. Every week when he'd give an update, it would be more or less around the same series and episode.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, you ready for this though? What do you think? What do you think is going to be following?
I don't know. I think all my opinions about that show were correct, aren't they?
They were watching it for the first time.
Did I spoil it?
That was until he dropped the biggest spoiler of all time without warning to save anyone else who may just so happen to be watching. I will just name the episode, not the spoiler. Long-term parking, season 5, episode 12. I screamed out loud. I couldn't believe I went 20-odd years without seeing a single spoiler for the whole show, bar the ending.
Oh, my God.
And nestled into a House of the Dragon podcast was this explosive nugget. I watched the whole of Series 5, knowing the way things will play out, but kept it from my fiancé. And actually, it did make experiencing it for the first time a bit less traumatizing and even enjoyable to see his reaction. So just an idea, if you're stuck for things to rewatch, maybe do The Sopranos, and I'll take it as a personal apology for the spoiler. Okay, I'm going to step in here in Chris's defence. Now, Chloe, I understand. No one understands the horror of having something spoiled more than me. I completely get it.
Sorry.
I would say, though, that 20 years is possibly enough water under the bridge to be able to talk freely about something. That's all I would say.
Yeah.
But I get you.
So,
and, Chris,
well, Chloe, this is
wanker.
Speaking to you directly. I'm very, very sorry. I thought when I talked about The Sopranos, I did try and preface them with spoiler warnings, but I'm quite inconsistent in that regard. So I'm very sorry. I've just checked the episode because I never really know the titles because, we just watch it at home. One of the best episodes of television.
Which one is it? No spoilers. Adriana?
Yeah.
Right. That's probably a spoiler.
It's a spoiler. It's the one where she lives happily ever after.
Yeah.
One of my favourite episodes of television I've ever watched, and if it's any consolation, that was one of the things I got spoilt. Probably, I think I found out what happened in that episode by about season 3 because someone spoiled it for me. All I would say is, when I was watching The Sopranos, particularly towards the end, you just get conditioned to think that everyone's going to die. True. So I was going in sort of knowing something was going to happen, but hopefully you still enjoyed it, even though you knew what was coming. But yeah,
failing that, just a shout out and a verbal apology will do. There we go.
Yeah, very sorry about that, Chloe. I'm glad to hear we were on the same kind of like Sopranos wavelength. Let us know what you thought of the finale.
Yes, yeah, do get in touch.
I could talk about that for hours.
Fantastic. Quite a few YouTube comments as well. Thanks everybody. I'm aware I put up the Sound of Succession episode yesterday, but for some weird automated reason, it also put up the trailer for Dragoncast. So apologies for that. Anthony got in touch. Anthony said this was only a day ago. This was in response to Dragoncast season 1 episode 8, Lord of the Tides, which was Paddy's. I think Paddy's one, wasn't it? No,
episode 8. Yeah.
If this is the home of House of the Dragon, then why are these two crapping all over it when obviously it's a huge hit? Obviously, these two should review something else. Anthony, as I said in my reply to you, that's fine. You're perfectly entitled to say that. I don't think we crapped over it. Certainly not House of the Dragon.
We don't crap over it.
We don't crap over House of the Dragon, I don't think. We may ask questions of it every now and then, or question decisions that were made, or casting choices, or I don't think we did. But I think that was slightly unfair. So with the greatest respect, Anthony, love you, but go fuck yourself. You get a nice big go fuck yourself from me.
Yeah, I also
go and sit in the corner with Joseph.
If I can just add to that, like, the whole point of us talking about the shows is to share our opinions, and some of them are really positive, some are negative, but they all come from the same place, which is passion for the show. Yeah, and we just want to say how we think. And if you want to just listen to people say that was the best episode of House of the Dragon week after week, there are loads of places to do that. But also, we do that a lot. It was a fucking great season. And actually, House of the Dragon got a lot of shit from people. It was not from us. We thought it was much more successful than a lot of critics, and we love it. So thanks, but no thanks.
The Sayadina said, what an awesome and charming guy Sam Coleman is. If you didn't listen, last week's episode had Sam Coleman, who played young Hodor, popped along for a chat and was lovely, wasn't he? Although pulled me up on some things. I made some comparisons just saying that I reckon the Avengers and Marvel picked up on things from like Hodor. The comparison I made was I Am Groot. The Sayadina is quite rightly kind of taking me to task on that, saying, a note on Hodor versus Groot. Groot first appeared in the MCU in the 60s, and by 1991 was exclusively saying, I am Groot. That predates Hodor by 5 years.
Fair enough.
I love J.R.R.M's world. They go on to say, he's very good at taking other things and tweaking them to build a whole new world. Okay, fair enough. The world of Ice and Fire is basically Dune and Dune Messiah mixed into the War of the Roses. And they go on, if you go onto the YouTube comments from last week's episode, you can read the side and make a very, very good case for that, where they compare like the House Atreides to the House Stark, Harkonnen to Lannister, Corrino to Targaryen, blah, 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 blah. Great case spelled out there. I'm not going to argue with you because I don't know much about the Frank
actually
Herbert universe.
Seen Dune yet, but
haven't you? Actually, it's the Villeneuve movie is well worth watching.
Like everyone is in the sequel. Like Austin Butler and Florence Pugh and everyone are in the sequel. Like it's amazing. A really, really big cast.
Yeah, it goes on to make a really good case for that almost like character for character.
Oh, that sounds great. Well, that is on my watch list. So.
Excellent. Oh, cool. The Wanted Remazing said 4 days ago, guys commenting on women's hair is funny. Cersei's hair once cut did not look great. It was fucking awful. Well,
that is the best comment we've ever got.
I didn't say it looked good. I said you would pay 80 quid for it in Tony and Guy in Today. Because
listen, also, as men, we're not going to tell women what to do with their hair.
Precisely. Do you think I'm mad?
Done something lovely to it.
Do you think I'm mad?
That person didn't point out what we said, which is that her hair changed colour once she got it chopped, which was
it did go a nice strawberry blonde all of a sudden.
I love that comment so
much. SC said, hi Jamie and Chris, first time writer, long time listener. Found you guys back around third or fourth week of HOTD. I was really missing a Thronecast episode, sponsored by Volvo, of course, fact fans. I just want to tell you how much I love your videos. Not only am I enjoying a rewatch of Game of Thrones, but thank you for introducing me to the OA. I would probably never have known about this wonderful Netflix series. Loved it what you've covered about Last of Us, and hopefully there'll be more of that in season 2. We've had a lot of people complain that we didn't do an episode by episode Last of Us.
But we were really busy.
We will do for the next one, I promise.
Also,
not a complaint, just not sure if you're aware. Commenting about the audio quality of your microphone. So we had a problem last week with Chris's.
Yeah,
we've had. Yeah. If only you guys knew the hell that we've been through with Chris's audio. It's hopefully, I think it's better now. Hopefully, we've got it sorted.
Listen, apologies for last week. Apologies to Jamie, but yeah, I can't seem to do anything right. That's all I'll say.
Anthony Warren. Actually, is this the same Anthony Warren? This is the same Anthony Warren that's telling us off for crapping all over it. So Anthony got in touch. Anthony's really cross. This was This was in episode. This was in reference to the finale of House of the Dragon, saying you guys thought this was slow up until the dragon fight scene. This was a great episode from start to finish. You folks have lost me. We didn't say it wasn't a great episode. It was slow moving up until the dragon scene. That's what we said.
Listen, it's
valid. We didn't say it was shit.
I thought it was quite slow. I don't even listen. It was months ago. On that episode, but that's fine if you thought it was.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Anthony, we respect your opinion. Thank you for getting in touch. Thank you for taking the time to comment. Really do appreciate it. The OA, I'm not sure we're going to have time to do. We've got two. What were we going to do? So we've got 2 more episodes. We've got one last OA episode, which we will probably record later on this week, and maybe get it up by Friday at some point.
We'll do OA. Later.
But we that will leave us with just the Game of Thrones rewatch and Succession, and the Game of Thrones rewatch is only.
Well, we need to figure out
7 episodes away.
7 and 8 if we're going to do 3 for each. I mean, I have no problem with that personally, but they are obviously smaller seasons, so there's less to choose from,
less to chat from.
I think. I think I've really enjoyed season 6.
Yeah.
You really notice a change in the show. I think in terms of getting more expensive, getting better looking. Mm-hmm. I think I'm really looking forward to 7 and 8. Both.
Good.
Really excited.
Good.
I think 7 is actually really good.
Yeah. We've already said that we're going to do the last episode live.
Yes.
So prepare yourself for that. We could probably work out what week that is, what date that is, but let's not do that now because we've got wanged on for far too long already. Chris, it's been an absolute pleasure. Next week is our final season 6 rewatch. What's it called? Winds of Winter? Is it the Winds of Winter?
It is called the Winds of Winter, which is interesting name for an episode.
Yes, I'm very excited about that. That is coming, and then it would be time to choose your episodes for season 7. So until then, get your thinking caps on. Get in touch with us. Leave us a comment under the YouTube or at Twitter at Dragoncast_pod, or indeed email dragoncast@daftdoris.com. We do appreciate you know what? I've never had this much interaction with listeners or viewers in any of the podcasts. Cool. In any of the podcasts I've done. I've never had so much interaction. I love it.
It's so cool that people get in touch. Thank you so much for listening.
Because we ain't making any money from this, so at least we know it's.
I'm making loads. Are you not?
What?
I'm rolling. I'm making,
Have you done some endorsement deal that
I'm on Cameo.
This is it. Right. I'm going to get my feet account on OnlyFans done.
Get it. I'm surprised you're not on there.
No one, mate, I'd end up paying OnlyFans. That would be the only person that would pay. It's like those feet. It's like I'm still missing toenails from the marathon, so I would not be making much money. On that note, Dracarys.